Twin Cities Audit here, folks, and today we're going to be reacting to Salute the Lackluster. We're reacting to a video that he put out on a cop that was charged with felony assault for his assaulting of a citizen. So let's go ahead and check this out, and then we'll give our thoughts.
I'm going to jail. There's no need for a sobriety test.
A former California sergeant now faces multiple charges.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. In March of 2023, Sergeant Dustin Witt and another deputy from the Merced County Sheriff's Office responded to reports of an accident. Upon their arrival, they found the driver of the vehicle, Lewis Jackson.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'll see you when you get down.
All right.
So what happened?
I tried to take Belcher, honestly, for a short way to go down here, but honestly, this road, I swear, I just didn't even know where I was going.
Lewis quickly took responsibility for his actions and admitted that he was intoxicated.
Okay, honest with you. Okay, I'm gonna be transparent with you. Okay.
Right.
All right. Just because due to the condition that the car went through the fence and stuff, and you did say you had been drinking, but I'm gonna have
I'm going to jail. Test. There's no need for a sobriety test. There's nothing like. I'm a girl, sir. So yeah, just sit right here. Okay?
So look, they're gonna do their test, okay?
But I'm just wondering, I'm not to waste your guys' time. There's no need for sobriety test. I'm drunk.
Okay.
I've been drinking.
Up to this point, the interaction had remained calm, but it took a turn as Lewis took offense to something Sergeant Dustin Witt said to his girlfriend.
Driver to drive the car, right?
Not necessarily. You really
So that's not even crazy. So for you to get at my girl like that,
Okay, hey, give me a minute. Hey,
Stop!
hey, bro. Listen, bro. Get off.
I'm leaving.
It's okay, we got him. We got him. Okay. Place your hands behind your back.
Section B of California Penal Code, Section 835A, says an officer may use objectively reasonable force to effect an arrest, prevent escape, or overcome resistance. After being tased and the first kick to his head, Lewis immediately snaps his hands behind his back, but Sergeant Dustin Witt proceeded to kick Lewis in the head 3 more times, and then stomped on his head twice. The beating is so terrible that the lower-ranking deputy grabbed his sergeant's wrist to stop him from further injuring the man. And now with Lewis unconscious, Sergeant Witt forces the handcuffed and incapacitated man's face into the dirt with his boot. The lead deputy does nothing to render aid. Instead, he removes the taser wires.
I got him. Okay. Place your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back now.
Or you're gonna get another tase. Listen.
Taser deployment.
Hold me. You got him?
Yep.
All right, so the dude is clearly out, right? And we're not gonna pause. He's clearly out. His boot is still on his neck. As of now, the boot is still on his neck. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that is extremely unsettling. Just the visual of it. He's clearly out. The boot still on the neck. Totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. Utterly ridiculous. Completely uncalled for. It's still there. It's still there. And I'd imagine it's not just sitting there lightly. There's definitely some pressure that he's applying. This is for degradation and humiliation. That's the only reason this foot is still there. For degradation and humiliation.
Roll over. Roll over. Roll over.
Hey,
Stop playing like that and roll over.
roll over.
Stop playing like that, he tells him. He's snoring.
Come on. We start 11:40.
Oh,
Roll over.
oh, I'm sorry.
Roll over.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Sit up.
I'm sorry, sir.
Sit up.
I'm sorry.
Sit up.
Grown man crying like a baby.
After the incident, the sheriff recorded a public statement.
We immediately started an internal affairs investigation and requested the Merced County District Attorney's Office to review this incident for a possible criminal investigation. I felt it was of extreme importance to share this incident with our community as soon as I was able to, not only to be transparent, but also to show the actions taken by one of our staff members. I want to be clear that this incident was isolated and does not reflect the actions of the rest of our agency. After the completion of that investigation, Sergeant Witt resigned his position with our agency. Sergeant Witt's actions are unacceptable and does not reflect the training and professional standards taught by the Merced County Sheriff's Office. While I am extremely disappointed with how this incident was handled by Sergeant Witt, I am encouraged that it was because of our own internal use of force review process that this incident was discovered.
I gotta chime in. The resigning thing has to stop. Like, these guys do the most heinous of acts, and then they turn around and, oh, well, he resigned, as though that's the solution to the problem. The optics on this is just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
The Merced County District Attorney's Office conducted the criminal investigation and has filed the following charges against Dustin Witt. Penal Code Section 149, which is battery by a peace officer. Penal Code Section 245A, parent 4, it's assault likely to cause great bodily injury and enhancement for both crimes causing great bodily injury. We at the Sheriff's Office strive to be professional in all aspects of our enforcement duties. The type of behavior seen in this video is not acceptable now, nor will it be in the future.
The sheriff made these bold claims 4 months after the incident, but this type of behavior has been acceptable in the past. For starters, Sergeant Dustin Witt and another Merced sheriff were involved in a drunken brawl back in 2019, where they beat up another officer and an innocent bystander. For that incident, Sergeant Witt was convicted of a misdemeanor and demoted from sergeant to deputy, before later being re-promoted back to sergeant.
Stop focusing on
All right.
The incident was isolated and does not reflect the actions of the rest of our agency.
The Merced sheriff.
Okay. So while it's good that the sheriff did come out and say what he said, let's be clear. He's doing that because it's the folks like us who are moving the needle. It's understood now that, thank God, we have these things called body cams or cameras that can highlight these events, and we can bring light to it and push for some change. That, thankfully, they charged the guy. At least we'll see where it goes. But let's be clear, while that it's nice that that sheriff came out, I do not believe that he came out 4 months later purely in goodwill, in purely for the sake of doing the right thing. I think it was because individuals like you and I are moving the needle, and we're making it understood that actions like that are no longer going to be tolerable.
Sheriff's Office declined to comment on why Witt was not fired following that incident. But this wasn't even the first time Witt had kicked somebody in the head.
Of course, he declined to comment why he wasn't fired right away following the incident. And I know they'll say something like, oh, we got to do our internal investigation. We want to make sure that we get all the facts. Do any of you need to do an investigation or look for facts when you see the optics of the assault that took place in this video?
In April of 2011, a lawsuit was filed with the United States District Court of the Eastern District of California, in which Dustin Witt was named as a defendant. The lawsuit claims that Dustin Witt yelled at a woman to end her call and to give him the cell phone. The woman ended the call, but put the phone down her pants, and Deputy Witt threatened that if she didn't get the cell phone for him, he would go down her pants to get it himself. He would then use that cell phone to call the home's owner to demand that he return to the house and open his gun safe. But immediately after ending that phone call, Dustin Witt and the other defendants destroyed the safe and broke it open. And less than 10 minutes later, the homeowner returned home. He was upset that the men had broken his safe after asking him to return to the property. The defendants immediately arrested the man, during which he was choked by the officers. At some point during the struggle, Defendant Witt ran into the room, kicking and kneeing the man in his eyes, after which he would use his personal cell phone to take pictures of his victim while strapped to a gurney.
I want to be clear that this incident was isolated and does not reflect the actions of the rest of our agency.
Fast forward to...
Right. You see that? See, we got to be careful with these guys. On the one hand, he's coming out and he's saying all the right things. On the other hand, here's what we got actually going on behind the scenes.
June of 2023, and Sergeant Witt was finally allowed to resign, just 3 months after the most recent incident. He
allowed to resign.
Was then charged by the county prosecutor. But had this been you or I, it's likely that each kick would have been a separate charge. However, law enforcement and the prosecutor's office consistently works together in criminal cases, and it appears Sergeant Witt has been given a softball pitch, especially considering his previous conviction and lawsuit. The responding deputy was not charged or forced to resign, despite failing to remove Witt's foot from the man's head and allegedly failing to report the incident to supervisors. In fact, it appears the deputy may be featured on the agency's Facebook page, though that has not yet been confirmed.
As your sheriff, you entrust me to make sure that our actions are reflective of the quality and behavior that our citizens deserve and expect. It breaks my heart to have to share this incident with you, but rest assured this is not something I take lightly. We will continue to review our use of force policies and training to continue to improve how we protect Merced County. Thank you.
At this time, we have no resolution to the charges against Dustin Witt. In fact, his name doesn't even appear on a search for public records in that county. But if there ever are any updates, I'll be sure to let you know. So I'd like to know what you think.
All right, folks. So there you have it. I gotta say that I find it extremely disturbing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Extremely unsettling what we I find it extremely unsettling what we witnessed there. Extremely. And I hope you do too. And this is not a color issue, right? It's not about that, this is a white deputy and a black citizen, right? Even though, historically we've seen this script, heard of this script, and we know that this script has played out time and time again. At this point, though, we got to understand that it's a matter of time before it comes to your and my doorstep, regardless of your background. They're indiscriminately moving their bar forward, and we have to move ours forward. That is, we the people. If it's meant to be, it's up to you and me, folks.